friends, what's up? How are you? I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for stopping by for today's video. Today's video is on the book Undeveloped by the author Leigh. I have read all three of her books. This is the third book. And then she also has, I think it's two now, poetry books out. When I read her first book, 4-Day Prince Charming, I actually did a video on that, and her second book, 1 Week Queen. I will put those in the description box below so you can check those out as well. When I read that first book, I was doing a little research and realized that she had written the poetry book. I think it's called Bittersweet Musings. I'm pretty sure that's the first one. Because then there's My Burning Depths. I think that's the second one. Don't quote me, but I will put the right ones in the description box below as well. I really like poetry. I used to read more poetry, and not every author that writes a book writes poetry, so to me that was kind of cool, and I wanted to check the book out right away. I did. I bought it. So many poems in that first poetry book spoke to me. It helped me kind of get to know her a little bit more and her voice, and I really liked it. And I really liked her first book as well. So that kind of cemented me wanting to read more from her. And of course, I went ahead and read her second book. So here we are on her third book. It's completely different. It's not in the same Robinson Sisters world that the previous two books are. And this one's a little different in that it's women's fiction. Now, you know I've mentioned I'm terrible knowing the genres and how specific they all get, but I know that she has said that. That being said, there is romance in it. Undeveloped is about Lia, Natalie, and Matt, mostly. Lia and Natalie are family members. Lia is Natalie's niece, and very similar personalities. They're super close. Lia talks about that Natalie's the cool aunt, and you can tell that they have a great love for each other. Their family has a wedding venue, and it's a barn and property, and people come and have their weddings and such there. I'm pretty sure that's where they all live together. Lia's parents, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on their names right now, but it's Natalie's brother and his wife are Lia's parents, and they're very close-knit family and run the wedding business. Natalie is a photographer, kind of artsy. Lia seems to be very similar to that. She's a budding photographer. That's a language that they both speak. Lia is happy where she is, but at the time in her life that the book takes place, she's graduating high school and about to go off to college, and really is on the precipice of finding herself and her own way outside of the comfort of the family. So the book is interesting in that it follows Natalie's past, 18 years previous, and then is present day Lia and a little bit of Natalie. But the interesting thing is that the past that we get of Natalie's, she's the same age that Lia is in the present part of the book. Does that make sense? So right there, and knowing their relationship, I really wondered if they were going to be similar at that age, and I couldn't wait to read more to find out. The way that Leigh wrote the story, we get chapters, and it bounces back and forth, present day, past, but we get chapters from Lia's perspective and Natalie's perspective, and I loved hearing their exact voice. And then we also get a chapter or two, I can't remember, from Matt, and I'll explain about Matt in a little bit. But this is something that Lia says about Natalie. Amelia Rose Weiniger, Aunt Natalie's voice echoes through the stairwell, a running joke making me smile. When she was my age, everyone called her by both her first and middle name, Natalie Rose, and she despised it. Now, when we're teasing each other, it's one of our go-to weapons. My parents named me after my maternal grandmother and Aunt Natalie. We may joke around, but I actually feel honored to be named after my aunt. She is a stubborn, take-charge woman, answering to no one and to nothing except for me. The book starts with Lia and Natalie walking around the barn, and Natalie talking about how it would be so pretty if they utilized the loft in the barn for a photo op, and they talk about how they're going to decorate it and everything. Natalie says to Lia, hey, go get that box of Christmas lights. There's Christmas lights in the attic. She goes to find the lights, she's moving boxes around, and she opens the box because she's like, huh, I've never seen this before. And it's a journal. So she's very inquisitive, of course, who wouldn't be? And she opens it and a picture falls out, and she realizes it's a journal, like a diary. And a picture falls out, and she recognizes Natalie right away, but she doesn't know who the guy is in the picture. And she's like, huh, what is that? Her interest is definitely piqued, and she takes it and she starts to read it. That's how this story goes. And that's why when I say that we get peeks into Natalie 18 years previous, it's from the journal. We learn a lot more about Natalie because we get her perspective in the journal. Like I mentioned, she's 18, she's graduated high school when we go back, and she's going to work at a summer camp the summer before she leaves for school. She attended the summer camp, and then now she works there with her best friend Kate and Kate's boyfriend Seth, who they all have a great relationship and are friends. And she's a little bittersweet about, it's her last time to be at camp, and her and Kate are feeling that. We know that at that time, she's dating Connor, and Connor's parents and Natalie's parents are really good friends. They've kind of been pushed together. Their relationship has, their family's kind of pushing them together, wanting them to be together. We know that Natalie is apprehensive. I mean, she's dated him for 6 months, but we know she's kind of apprehensive about it. She feels the pressure of that. She doesn't know or think that Connor is her forever guy. There's things that we see about Connor that, we don't really like him. It's the night before he's supposed to leave to go to football camp. He tries to kind of make some moves on her, and she's like, not happening. And he gets all pissy about it, and she's like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing here? She tells him off. She gets out of the car. She has a backbone. And this is what she says. In that moment, I make a split-second decision, and it's the freest and happiest I've felt in months. I'd rather be alone than fit into a mold someone else expects of me. Then the next day, she's kind of forced to play nice with him because, of course, his parents are doting over her as his girlfriend, and she didn't tell her parents what he did, and that's her boyfriend, and it's just kind of a mess. So she can't wait to get away and go to camp and work and have him go to football camp and just be away from each other. And at summer camp is where she meets Matt. Matt pulls up in his BMW. Everyone knows that his family is on the board of the camp or owns the camp or whatever, and he's kind of like this rich, snobby young man. They kind of have an idea about what they think he is, but yet he strikes up a friendship with Natalie and with Seth and Kate, and he pulls his weight, and he works just like they are. Natalie and Matt stir up a friendship over photography, really. He has a really nice camera. Natalie likes to go at sunrise and go and take pictures at a really pretty area where she can hike to from the camp. So they become friendly, but she's in a little bit of denial because she's kind of still not hung up on Connor, but confused about Connor and life and all that, and this is something she says. My love for Connor was naive, built on a false sense of knowing what I wanted. Matt and I aren't anything, not even a we. We're merely two kindred spirits drowning in the expectations others have of us, and somehow that bonded us. But there's no guarantee that it means anything long term. There's a point that Kaylee makes a bunch with them. It's about both of them separately, feeling like they have expectations on them that neither one of them feels comfortable with at all. And I wasn't sure where Kaylee was going to take that, but she makes a point of telling us that a few times. I guess I should say that I knew where Natalie was coming from, but I wasn't sure about Matt. And then we find out about what the expectations that are put upon him are. And we find out why he's at camp, that he needed a break. And he told his family, let me go work there, give me some freedom, and then I'll do what you want me to do. We know that Natalie's insecurities are starting to poke through a little bit when it comes to Matt, and this is from her perspective. The more of Matt I have, the more I crave him. Every touch leaves me aching for the next. Every kiss leaves me breathless. The thought crosses my mind that we're too close and we're moving faster than I ever even considered with Connor. Then again, I never felt that kind of connection with Connor, nor did I feel this acceptance of who I am and what I want. I feared not being able to keep up with Matt. He's had partners before. He said 3, but none in the last few months. What if I didn't compare to them? He still led me gently in bed, but a few times I'd gotten braver. Not brave enough to cross that line, though, because the doubt still lingers in my mind that the physical is all he wants. I'm worried that I'm just another conquest, that it could be anyone, and I'm just dealt the hand of manning the desk for now. Matt decides to take Natalie to a family event. I mean, doesn't go well. The writing was on the wall with that one, but the excitement that they both had about being together and spending that time together away from camp. They were driving there, so it was kind of like a road trip, and all of that was really sweet and really spoony. But the event doesn't go well, and she gets a phone call from Kate telling her to come back to camp right away. And she's like, why? What's going on? And this is where I was kind of on the edge of my seat with the book, because I didn't know where we were going after that. And there was quite a bit of the book left. And boy, does this take a turn that I did not expect at all. And you know I don't like to give real spoilers. I'm not even going to talk about the last quarter of this book, because holy smokes, my mouth was just open and my heart was beating so fast, and I was so sad for Lia and so sad for Natalie, and because all this time we know where they are in the present day, and Lia thinks she's found the answers, but there's more. Oh my gosh, so well done, because I did not expect any of it. Lia kind of walks around very melancholy because she's like, but what happened? The journal stops. What happened? And she knows she's invaded Natalie's privacy, so she doesn't want to come right out and ask her. So there's this sweet moment where Lia and Natalie, neither one of them can sleep, and so they're it's the middle of the night, and Lia comes downstairs, and lo and behold, Natalie's sitting there, and she kind of startles Lia, and they start talking, and they make hot chocolate, and they have a heart-to-heart about life a little bit, and Lia asks her about this guy that she had just gone out with, because Natalie's not married, and now Lia knows all this information, and Natalie's never really dated either, that she's seen, that she can remember. And this is from Lia's perspective. A mixture of sadness and relief overcomes me. Leo would have been great for her, but at the same time, once you've had a passion like I've read about, I think anything else would feel subpar. Once we're done talking, she focuses on her hot chocolate. She rinses her cup when she's done, kissing my forehead before heading to bed, and leaving me alone with my thoughts and her ghosts. Oh my gosh. Wow. My heart. Oh my gosh. I did not see the end of this book coming. I freaking love that. And I can say this is my favorite book of Kaylee's so far. And that doesn't mean I didn't like the previous 2 books. But I loved this story. Let me know if you have read Kaylee's other books, or if you have read Undeveloped. And while you're here, I would love for you to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. When you do that, it not only helps my channel, but it also will help this video get shown to more people on YouTube. I always put a direct Amazon link to the book that the video is about, so if you want to grab it, it's right down there in the description box. I welcome you to come over to my social media and say hello to me over there. It's Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. See you soon. Bye.